Hey, good morning. May 14th, 2024. It's up to you. Let's get into it this morning. Let's get into it today. Let's continue this train of thought to help you, and myself included, tap into your full potential and unlock what's next for you. May I say, I am super excited for what's coming for you and I both. I'm amazed so much that I can't even hardly get it out, right? I'm excited to see what's going to come and what's going to happen as a result of this month being the month that we take the initiative to move past inertia and move forward in a personal initiative, a inner diving into our self-discovery to know who we are, know what we want, and become the best version of ourselves. So, hey, I want to tell you today, it's up to you, right? It's up to you. Yesterday's conversation really centered on developing a mindset that says, I'm responsible for my own results. And the stats show most people who are alive are not living fully. And most people who are alive right now do not know what they want in life. And I want to help you not be one of those people. Statistics show if you put 5 people in a room, only one out of those 5 typically knows and is clear about their destination that they're headed in. And so the goal, the objective is to help you make a decision and be clear. And once you're clear on that decision, to be convinced to the point that you are so determined that you will let nothing and no one become a distraction to your destiny. It's up to you. It's up to you. Good morning, Dr. Redmond. It's up to you. Good morning. Good morning, First Lady Yolanda. It's up to you. No one else can hinder you but you. And if no one else can hinder you but you, then it's also true that no one else will help you like you can help yourself. I believe so many people spend too much time waiting for someone else to help, waiting for someone else to come, and validate, waiting for someone else to come and show you and tell you, and push you. Man, let me tell you, these are the days that you're going to have to get up. Just like Jesus told the man at the pool of Bethesda, you've been here 38 years, but it's going to be time. It's time for you. If you're going to get up from here, if year 39 is going to be different from the previous 38, you're going to have to be the one to get up and be your own breakthrough. I'm talking today. I'm talking today to someone who says, you know what, I do not want to fall into the stats of the people who don't even know what they want. And here's the secret. Here's the secret. Thank you as you're coming in. Let me know you're here so I can know who's with us. Here's the secret, right? Here's the secret to knowing what you want. I hope you're ready for this, right? The secret to knowing what you want in life. Here it is. In order to know what you want, you got to decide what you want. In order to know what you want, the secret to knowing what you want is literally making a decision. You gotta make a decision and then head in that direction. And remember, God is not opposed to you making a decision, because if you're walking with him, you're going to make a decision that is already aligned with his will. which is why he says you can ask whatever he says, and I'll do it. Why? He says, because if your heart is conditioned, if your will is aligned with the will of God, then you're going to make a decision that will not be detrimental to your destiny, but you're going to make a decision that is already in alignment with what God says about you. What does God say about you? Good morning, Aunt May. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, Lady Connie. What is it that he says? He says, number one, you are fearfully and you are wonderfully made. You are God's idea. What's the big idea? It's you. It's the fact that God made sure that he favored this world with the expression of you. And if you don't tap into your God-given potential, then we're wasting the time and what God has invested. An investor knows this. The reason why an investment is made is for a return. And the reason why we're having these conversations is because it's time for you to return back on the investment. God is looking for his ROI. He's looking for his return on investment. He's invested so much in you. And some of us have let other people dummy us down. You let other people make you shy away from who you are. Oh, I'm shy. No, most people are not shy. Most people are trying to avoid showing people how great you really are. Most people have been the victim of voices that have told you what you could not do, what you would not do, who you would be or who you would not be. And so today you got to change the channel. You got to change your circle. Choose your circle wisely, because the people around you, they can either be your circle or they can be a cage. And some of us have been caged into other people's ideas of us, into other people's expectations of us, into other people's desires for us. But the key to knowing what you want is making a decision for yourself. Robbie Simpson, we got to do it. We got to make a decision for ourselves. The secret to knowing what you want is simply deciding what you want. And I know I use the word simply. There are so many people who say, well, no, it's not as simple as that. Well, I also believe that if you say a thing is going to be hard, then it's going to be hard. Henry Ford, it goes on record by saying, if you think you can, you're right. If you think you cannot, you are right. Either way, whichever one you think. If you think you can, you're right. If you think you cannot, you're right. Why? Because it's up to you, right? I don't normally ask this while we're on, but I need somebody to help me in the comments and drop that. It's on you. It's up to you. It's on you. It's up to you. Whichever one speaks to you, drop it there. Like, no one is going to be your knight in shining armor. And I feel the need to tell somebody else who's on today, the person who hurt you is not coming back to help you. Stop waiting on the people who hurt you to come back and help you. Matter of fact, they've gone on with their lives. It's you who's still stuck in the spot where they left you. But do yourself a favor, and the next time they circle back around to see if you're still sitting in your sorrow, let them see that you're no longer there. I want you to be able to, I'm not where you left me. You left me in disgust, but I'm no longer there. You left me hurt, but I'm hurting, but I'm no longer there. You left me in a place that I doubted my own ability to resurrect and to come out of what you left me in. But it's up to you. It's on you. No, it's not on. No, it's literally on you. And what God does is he will put voices in our lives who will tell us, hey, listen, I can't do it for you, but I can encourage you to know you can do it for yourself. We are the sum total of our decisions. Whoever you are, wherever you are, our lives are always moving in the direction of our strongest thoughts. And so if you think you cannot, you will not. If you think you can, then you will. And so I want to help us today. I want to help us today to know what it takes in order. Why? Because knowing what you want is, in fact, a process. And I want to ask you this. I want to ask you this question. You got to really be honest with me. How much time do you have? Or not how much time do you have? How much time are you willing to invest daily in yourself? That's the question. May I ask you a question? Sure, I may. How much time are you willing daily to invest in yourself? Like if you're in corporate, you're investing 8 hours or more in someone else's work, because the quote goes that if you don't know what you want, you'll end up working for someone who does. Now, this is not, this 40-year-old millennial, advocating that you walk out and quit your job today, because entrepreneurship is literally not for everybody. And if the 9 to 5 is for you, please, ma'am, please, sir, by all means, stick with what you got, because I can't help you pay none of your bills. But what I am telling you is, if you can invest that amount of time into someone else's work, you have to be just as intentional about carving out and creating time to invest in yourself. How much time are you willing to invest in yourself? Brittany, how much time are you going to take to invest in you? Rob, how much time are you going to decide? And you got to decide this. Like, nobody else can decide this. You got to decide this. And there are so many times that we're looking at scenarios and we're saying, well, I'm already busy, right? Okay, well, let's just think this through. Yeah, you're already busy, but exactly what's keeping you busy? If pleasing other people is what's keeping you busy, then effective immediately you have to decide, I can no longer spend my entirety pleasing everybody else, and then at the end of the day, I've done nothing to please myself. I've done nothing that makes me happy. I've done nothing, because my happiness is my responsibility. I have a spouse. I love my wife. But I know this. My wife is not responsible for my happiness. Does she add to it? Yes, she does. Is she responsible for it? No, she is not. I'm responsible for my happiness. And when you take your happiness, when you take your journey into your hands and say, you know what, God, I'm not going to do this without you, but I also know this, God is not letting us off the hook of our own personal responsibility. God says, I've already done it for you. Jeremiah 29:11. He says, I know the thoughts and the plan that I have for you, says the Lord. They're good. They're not evil. They'll give you a future and a hope and an expected end. But you're in captivity right now while the prophet is telling you this, not because I wanted you here, but because you chose to be here. And God says 70 years, you're going to stay here until you learn your lesson. And some of us are just like God's people, just like Israel, in a constant cycle, a repeated cycle, and never breaking free to go into the promised land. Not because God didn't want you to have it, but because you have not made a choice and a decision that is for you. And so you and I have to make decisions for us, so let me drop this to you, and I gotta go. Hey, Keita Lynn, number one, you know what? We got to have the right attitude. I mean, attitude is so key in this thing, because here's what I want you to know. When you have to ask, now the stuff that we're talking about, this is not theory, right? You got to literally do this. So when I asked you a question, you've got to, number one, learn to ask yourself questions, right? And then number two, stop letting people tell you you're crazy if you answer yourself. No, you're crazy if you ask a question and don't answer it. That's what's crazy. What's crazy is to question why you are the way you are and never go after the answers. What's crazy is to question why things are the way they are and never go after the answer. The objective, the end goal of a question is to get an answer. And some of us today have lived self-limiting beliefs because we won't answer. the questions we've been asking. It's never too late to be what you could have been. It's never too late to be what you could have been. If you are still alive, there's still time. If you are still alive, there's still time. And so we have to learn to ask the right questions, not to people all the time, but sometimes just asking yourself the right question. And then after you ask it, follow up and answer it. Answer the question. If you are not happy with where you are right now, if you're not happy with who you are right now, or if you say you're happy but you're not quite satisfied, you know, it's not like you're unhappy, but you just don't feel accomplished. You don't feel fulfilled, like that you're living a fulfilled life. Then here's what you got to do. You got to answer why. You got to answer why. And when you ask and answer the right questions, it helps bring clarity where there was once confusion. And my prayer is that God would help clarify the confusion of your own conceptual idea of who you are. And then you go back in scripture, and scripture says you are his workmanship. You are workmanship, poieme in the Greek, and which is where we get the English word poem. You are a literary work, and there are all different types of poems, right? They're all beautifully structured, and they all carry a distinct structure, and you cannot take what somebody else is doing and make that your identity, because then we don't get you, we get a carbon copy of them. And newsflash, we got enough of them. Hey Jackie, we got enough of them already. The world doesn't need another them. The world is looking for you. But if you don't tap into your own potential, then you're not returning back on the investment that God made. And so here's what I want us to do. I want you to take some time to check in with yourself. Like, okay, it's good to check on other people, but today, check on you. Today, check in with yourself. And you need to gauge how truly ready you yourself are to be clear about what you want. Check in with you. Check in to make sure you're good with you. So many people spend our lives wanting to make sure and doing everything that we can to make sure we're good with other people. But beyond being good with people, I need you to make sure you're good with you. I need you to make sure when you're looking at yourself that you're not looking away from yourself because you don't like what you see and you don't like what you feel. Check in with you, because if you don't check in with you, then you're not going to be clear about what you want. And if you don't know what you want, somebody else is going to come along and help make a decision for you. And that decision, more than likely, is not going to be really what you want. It'll just be what you accept. And there were so many who are just working just because, but I want you to find fulfillment in what you do. The point of life is to live it, and to live it fully. The point of life is to live. It's not to waste it. It's not to wish. It's not to want, but it is to live. And so here's what's going to help us do that. It's when we go from trying to training. Because what most people have the desire, but lack the discipline. Desire is trying. Discipline is training. All right? Are you here? DA? Desire is trying. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to be healthier. I'm trying to pray more, right? Trying. And we blurt it out as if it's some trophy. But the real sauce is when we go from desire to discipline. And discipline is not I'm trying. Discipline is I'm training. Discipline says I'm training myself to become a greater version of myself. I'm training myself to be what I say I want to be. I'm holding myself to myself. Desire just says it. Desire just speaks on it, but discipline takes steps towards it. Did you hear me? Desire will just speak on it. Discipline will take steps toward it. Make a decision and head in that direction. Make a decision and head in that direction. Make a U-turn, come to a complete stop, make a 180. Whatever you got to do is what you got to do. But you got to go from trying to training, because trying is passive. Training is proactive. And passive people just sit and wish, want, and wait. Proactive people get up and say, I gotta get to work. Why? Because it's on me. It's on me. So the question that you have to now ask is, how committed am I to creating this version of me? You'll know how committed you are when you start making decisions that align. You start making steps that align with the decisions that you've been speaking. You can't just speak it, but you got to step towards it. So and it takes the right attitude. It takes an attitude that says this, that I can't just be passive with my own potential. Man, I cannot just be passive with my own potential. I have to be proactive, because there's more to me than meets the eye. There's more to me than I even know is in me right now. But because I know it's there, I got to do the work. Let me tell you this. It's good to have New Year's resolutions. It's good to write out goals. But around here, I'm saying, once you write out your goals, right next to that goal, you got to also write out what you're going to give up in order to achieve that goal. It's not just enough to write the goal, right? And I believe my formula I give is write it, work it, win. Write it, work it, win. That's my formula. Write it, whatever it is, whether it's a goal, whether it's a desire, whether it's an accomplishment, whatever it is, write it down. And once you write it, after you write it, you're gonna have to work it. That's the thing. There is no leveling in laziness. You can't be lazy trying to level up. You can't be passive and live out your full potential. It just does not work like that. So how committed are you really? Again, how much time are you willing to invest in yourself daily? Not just one time. And you done saved so many. You done saved, I don't know how many videos. You done saved I don't know how many posts and motivation quotes. You got all this stuff saved in your phone. Tiana, come on, help me. You can't leverage laziness. No, ma'am. Never have been, never will be. You got all this stuff, right? So here's why I'm saying this. It's good to have a plan, but what good is a plan that you don't put into play? It's good. We who are the redeemed, right? We got the biggest and the greatest playbook there ever was and is and will be in the Bible. We got it. But what good is having the plan if you won't play it? What good is having a playbook if you won't run the plays? And your word today is, God is saying you don't need nobody else. You don't need another strategy. You need to work the one you already have. You don't need another coach. You need to get out there and run some plays. You need to get out there and tap into your potential, because if you don't, it's really on you. And if you're not committed, you can't create it. Did you hear me? If you're not committed, you will not create it. Right? And so we got to remove the word try and replace the word try with train, and get committed and ask, and you need to ask and answer yourself, how much time are you willing to commit to investing in yourself daily? If you're working on that job and you're giving them that time, I ain't saying stop giving them that time, but what I am saying is carve out a way to spend some time investing in you, right? So number one, we got to have the right attitude, and then we got to know how to really clarify all of this and to bring bring it full circle. Trilena, we got I need some candles, by the way. We Lakeside morning, the majority of people have little or no idea what they actually want for themselves. Well, here's the big thing. Majority of people have no idea. They're not clear on what they want for themselves. They know what everybody else wants, but they don't know what they want. I was just talking to an individual this morning, and I told him, I said, it's good. It's good. The work that you're doing, it's great the work that you're doing, but never lose you working, doing somebody else's stuff. It's good to serve. The Bible teaches us that we serve. The greatest amongst us is a servant. But you know what sometimes you got to do? You got to start serving yourself. You can't just keep showing up for everybody else and never show up for you, because eventually you won't be. If you're good, people will use you. If you're good, people will utilize you. But you have to come through for you and say, you know what? I can only be as good to them as I am to myself. So, most people don't know what they want. But here's the big thing, and I'm done almost. It's not because they don't want to know. But for many, it's because they don't know how. They don't know how to know. Tiana says, I believe they're consumed by what they're assumed, to do, and not what they're assigned to do. Girl, you're gonna make me add you here in a minute. Keep preaching like that. There's a difference between what you assume you're supposed to do and what you have literally been assigned to do. Yeah, I love that. I'm taking that. But it's not because they don't want to know. It's because they don't know how to know. The how is big. And when you and I have made a decision, when we're convinced of the why, the how comes naturally, right? Because it's going to take some work. It's going to take some work. And if you're serious about clarifying what you want, then it's going to require you put in the work. And the question I got to ask you right now is, are you prepared and willing to put in the effort? Like, you got the blueprint, but are you willing to put in the effort? You got the playbook. You got the instruction, but are you willing to put in the effort to follow through on it? Because there are a lot of people who's sitting. That you're just sitting. You're sitting on your answer. Your answer is already in you. But if you're not going into yourself, then you're not discovering the answers that are already within. You're asking yourself questions, but you're not answering the questions. And if you're not answering them, then you're missing the fact that it's already in there. It's in there. But if you're not serious about it, it's not. The what is not the problem for many. For many, it's the how. People are not clear about what they want for themselves, not because they don't want to know, but because they don't know how to know. But can I tell you today, it's literally time to stop being okay with not knowing what you want. No, like, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out, Lady Monk. I'm glad you made it. It's like time to stop being okay with not knowing what you want. You know what everybody else likes. And then when somebody asks you what you like, you can't even tell them. Because you spent all your living days learning everybody else, only to discover you know them, but you don't even know yourself. Stop it. It's like really time to stop being okay with not knowing what you want in life. Because if you don't know what you want, you can't head there. I say it almost every day. GPS is amazing GPS can get you wherever you want to take you. But here's what's required. You got to put in the destination. GPS can never take you anywhere you won't tell it you want to go. And God is saying, tell me, commit whatever you do to the Lord, and he says, I'll establish it. And don't let these folks trick you out of what God has already talked you into, because it's not what they want for you. And sometimes growth requires things to end, necessary endings we talked about last week. And there is no significance without sacrifice. The law of sacrifice says this: in order to go up, you got to be willing to give up, right? And the truth of the matter is, what is it that you're willing to give up so that you can go up? And for many of us, it's first of all giving up being okay with not knowing what you want. I'm done, but I want to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. How you think about this process is really going to greatly influence whether or not you go after it. Carl Butler, it's really going to influence how you go after it. Transformation starts with the thinking. Everything starts with a thought. And everything is considered to be impossible until somebody does it. Where you go, Clint Smith? Everything is considered to be impossible until somebody does it. You lean in. I got to tell you this. DA, I got to tell you this. Donna, I got to tell you this. Carl, I got to tell you this, man. I got to tell y'all this. Toya, I got to tell you this. Gwen, I got to tell you this. You are a prototype. And for some of us, the delay has been, you've been trying for so long. Your thoughts have been to do what somebody else has done. And God is saying the reason why you've drug your feet so long is because I didn't create you to be a carbon copy. I created you to be a prototype. And there's something that God has created and called you to do that is so unique. There is no book written on it. There is no exact blueprint for it, because you are the blueprint, because you are the prototype. And if you don't tap into your potential, then the rest of the world will never see an example of what can be done, because you never decided what you wanted to do. And the biggest part of this is the reason why you got to make a decision is because it's bigger than you. It's bigger than you, because you are the prototype. You are someone's answer. And you are his idea and his unique expression. And he has invested everything in you to be and to become, because this is the becoming, because we're getting rid of the to-do list, and we're trading, we're replacing the to-do list with to-be list. Sean Sewells, we're replacing to-do list with to-be list. Don't just keep talking about what you want to do. Let's talk about who you want to be, because when you become that person, the becoming will then dictate the doing. And the doing will be satisfying. The doing will bring a feeling of accomplishment into your life. And everyone deserves a season of time, a moment in your life when you feel accomplished. But if you don't make the decision and head in that direction, then you just keep doing what you've been doing, pleasing everybody else, but having no pleasure within your own self. So the question is, how much time are you willing to invest in your own self daily? If every day you're giving more, if you're giving all of your time to everybody else and never giving any to yourself, that potential is just there. And newsflash, the potential is waiting to come out. The potential is waiting. The potential, the potential is there. It's the perspective that helps unlock it. All right, so I'm done. I got to get out of that. I got to go. But the secret to knowing what you want in life is to literally make a decision. And once you make a decision, head in that direction. Ask yourself the right questions, and then, my friend, yes, answer yourself. Because if you don't answer, the answers are what help align you with what you really desire. And today, here's the biggest thing. If you take nothing else away from this today, tomorrow I'm going to literally like dive into the framework for your future, and how we can the how. The how is the biggest part. Most people don't know what they want, but it's not because they don't want to know. It's just they don't know. Not because they don't want to make a decision. They just don't know how to make a decision. So starting tomorrow, we'll kind of dive into the framework of your future and how to decide and head, and how to make a decision, good decision, healthy decisions, and head in that direction. Are you ready? May I ask you a question? Are you ready to commit to creating a greater you? Are you really ready? Like, are you willing to put in the effort? Are you willing to give up in order to go up? And or are you okay with just continuing to not know what you want? No. I want to help you not be one of the four. I want to help you. I want to help you not be one of the 4 out of 5 people who don't know what they want. I want to help you be the one who does. All right. And so today, here's the big one. Check in with yourself to gauge how truly ready you are to clarify what you want. Check in with yourself. Learn yourself. Get to know yourself. People can be on hold for a moment. Your biggest project right now for the rest of this month, and maybe even for the rest of this year, is going to be you. People say, what you working on? Me? What you got going? A project called me. All right. So that's it. Thank y'all for being on today. God bless you. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow as we start diving into the framework for your future. Go have a great day on purpose. Whatever you do, make your day the day that you desire that it be. Bring the life wherever you are. Bring the life, man. Just bring. Don't take your prompt from nobody else's vibes and energy and mood. You bring the life, and choose life, choose purpose, and let's make a decision, and let's head in that direction. Gwen, thank you for being on. Daphne, DA, thank you for being on. Lady Connie, thank you for being on. Those of you who I already acknowledged, hey, I'm May, thank you for being on. We got Illinois in the house. All right, the river is in the house. Lisa is normally on every day. So thank you for being on. Hey, my Keita Lynn, when y'all hear me say, hey, Keita Lynn, I'm talking to my wife. But I'm glad. All right, I got to get out of here. I got to get towards what's next. And I'll see y'all back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Let's get into the framework for your future.